Like I always say, the world's nothing but a stage, and I'm going to get into Mark Dice in a little bit. But first, now let's take a look at this tweet by Rosie O'Donnell. I fully support imposing martial law, delaying the inauguration until Trump is cleared of all charges. I believe she's talking about the tax issues regarding Trump not showing his paperwork. Now, found this interesting here with Mark Dice, this guy. I mean, he is the most annoying out of all the so-called truthers. At least with Alex Jones, he's somewhat entertaining, somewhat funny, but there's nothing funny about this clown, and he has a lot of people deceived on his YouTube channel. Let's take a listen to what he says, again, with this phony, pantomime with Rosie O'Donnell. I'm going to expose him. He has an older video left up on his channel that he forgot that I'm going to show in a little bit. But first off, let's take a look at what he said here today on his channel.
Television talk show host turned Twitter troll Rosie O'Donnell is having a psychotic breakdown as the inauguration of Donald Trump is now just a week away. She's calling for martial law to be implemented and have the military suspend the Constitution and detain Donald Trump in order to delay the inauguration. She tweeted on Twitter in all caps, quote, "I fully support imposing martial law, delaying the inauguration until Trump is cleared of all charges."
With Mark Dice being an obvious shield, part of, again, the world stage, I'm going to point something out here. His other channel called The Resistance. This dates back to March 6, 2007, where he basically is bragging about how he's mentioned on ABC News. He puts his name down as Mark Dice, but he used to go by the name of John Connor. Of course, a reference to Terminator 2. Let's play this clip first off, again, from ABC The View. Basically, they're promoting him, of course, because he's a shill. They're not going to promote real truth speakers on controlled TV without a shadow of a doubt. Now, let's take a look at this clip. Again, Rosie O'Donnell is here talking about so-called John Connor, a.k.a. Mark Dice. Also, of course, his real name being Mark Dice.
Of my addiction, so at 4:30 in the morning you can find me on YouTube. So the political one, there's a couple of political ones, but the latest one I found, oh my God, I am like so crazy about this guy. It's called the resistancemanifesto.com.
Yes, this is the guy John Connor.
John Connor.
Of course they know about him. This is how they do it. They're basically pushing all the so-called truthers into one direction. That's, of course, to someone like so-called John Connor, known as Mark Dice now. This is how they do it, basically herding the sheep, the truthers that are basically still sleeping, to one direction.
Honor.
I'm going to write it down.
Okay.
I'm going to write it down, of course. Give me a break.
It's so amazing. And the thing that's so great about him, because now people will look at him and say he's a nutcase, okay?
Well, maybe
But see, I don't think so. I don't think so. He's a nonconformist.
He's a nonconformist. He goes around the country with a bullhorn, like to UCLA or wherever he wants, and he says, 9/11 was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job.
Interesting looking back and seeing Rosie O'Donnell basically promoting Mark Dice. Of course, there's that connection. They're working together. The world's nothing but a stage.
And within 5 or 10 minutes, the police show up, and his friends videotape him getting arrested by the police. And boy, does it annoy people, I can tell you that much.
That would probably annoy just a handful of people in the United States.
Well, you gotta look and then make your own decision.
Exactly. I'm going to check it out for sure.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out for sure. Well, they think people are so stupid, and unfortunately, I have to agree, a lot of people are dumb. How many followers does Mark Dice have on his channel? Unbelievable. This clown is basically, getting close to 1 million subs on his channel. The people that are watching mainstream media news are being deceived. The people watching alternative news are being deceived as well. This is how they do it. Both sides equally deceived. I mean, he's going to feed you a little bit of truth, but not give you the full truth. Now, let's take a look again at the name, the whole entire concept of why he had his name John Connor, and how they love a play on names. Take a closer look here. You'll see here, again, going by, formerly known as John Connor. And why Connor? Because, of course, Connor is 33, as in Connor, like he's a con artist. He's a conner. That's all he is. And these so-called truth speakers, such as Alex Jones, a.k.a. Bill Hicks, side by side. Of course, they had their fake beef a while back, but nothing more than a pantomime playing the truthers for fools. Of course, like I stated, Connor was 33. Just so happens Alex Jones, and this fictitious name was to get that 33 as well. Also, fact with the name InfoWars, the whole entire concept being 33. Now, again, talking about Mark Dice, Mark Schuldice, John Connor, whatever you want to call him, propped up in the mainstream media. This is going way back. The Resistance has more than 30,000 political activists. Give me a break. Complete joke. And also, going back in time, he had his book. This guy basically tried to make money selling a book about dating, how to date women, all the techniques. He had a YouTube channel called Dating Strategies. This is him right here talking to some woman. Obviously, this didn't pan out, so he decided to sell his butt. The people behind the scenes pulling the strings. Here he is, of course, on Fox News. No legit truth speaker will appear on mainstream media. That's simple. Like I said, they control the mainstream media, the alternative media as well. Here's a little clip he talked about as well on his channel, talking about Jake Tapper of CNN and their little debate they had. Let's take a listen to what it said here by Mark Dice, a.k.a. John Connor, a.k.a. Mark Schuldice.
CNN's Jake Tapper, their chief Washington correspondent for the Clinton News Network, called me a liar today on Twitter, and then later sort of half-heartedly admitted that what I was saying was in fact true and issued a half-hearted apology. Earlier,
this is how they do it, To make him look more legit, they're going to spotlight him with CNN, with Jake Tapper. Also, getting back to the point how the alternative media is controlled as well with We Are Change, more like We Are Frauds with Luke Rutowski. They're all connected, all working together. They pull you in with a good amount of truth, nothing more than bait, like a fish that falls for a lure. You got to be wise. Things are not, unfortunately, in this world as it always seems, not as it's presented. Unfortunately, life is not that simple. Like I stated earlier, the world's nothing but a stage. People you see all over, the mainstream media, alternative media once again, such as Mark Dice. I just can't believe this guy has so many followers once again. I mean, closing on close to 1 million. And this is why so few are truly awake, because all you're being fed is basically half-truths, disinfo, and they're all, again, working together. So very obvious for those that are truly awake what is taking place. The world's nothing but a stage.
But finally we shall bring order out of chaos.
I don't get this at all.
Shut up, Mr. Button. You are not brought upon this world to get it.
This world is nothing what it seems.
And the men who hold high places must be the ones who start to mold a new reality, closer to the heart, closer to the heart. All the world's in need of state. We are merely players, performers and portrayers. Each another's audience outside the gilded gate. Just remember that it's a grand illusion. Deep inside we're all the same.
The thing is, if nobody tells you that it's an illusion or nobody brings your attention to it, then how are you going to know?
I'm just living out the American dream, and I just realized that nothing is what it seems.
Never-ending attack. If a thing's alive.